everyone, I am Vijay Kevlani, Assistant Professor, LG Institute of Pharmacy. Welcome to a MOOC session series, an initiative taken by LG Institute of Pharmacy. In today's session, we are going to talk about diuretics and antidiuretics. So diuretics are the drugs or agents which promotes diuresis, means which increases urine production and increases the rate of urine flow. The site of action for diuretics are kidney, specifically different parts of nephron, as nephron is a functional unit of kidney, and in the tubular structure of nephron there are number of ion channels. These ion channels are target of this diuretic drugs. Diuretic action is achieved by increasing excretion of sodium ions, which increases excretion of water. So always remember, each sodium takes 4 water molecule with it, right? So the more amount of sodium will remain in tubule, the more amount of water will also remain there. However, some diuretics have no nutritic but only aquatic action. Now, the meaning of the sentence is that some of the diuretics only retain water in tubule, they don't retain sodium, right? Sodium ions are excreted accompanied with other ions, particularly chloride ion, calcium, magnesium and potassium. Therapeutic use of diuretics are, these drugs are used as an antihypertensive agent and in treatment of edema and to maintain urine volume. Classification of diuretics. So very first is high saline diuretics, also known as inhibitors of sodium potassium 2 chloride co-transporters. Examples are furosemide, bumetanide and torsemide. Next is medium efficacy diuretics, in that there is benzothiazide. Examples are hydrochlorothiazide, hydroflumethiazide and benzothiazide. In that another class is thiazide like diuretics, in that chlorthalidone, metazolone, schipamide, indapamide and clopamide. Next is weak or adjuvant diuretics, in that there is carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. Very first is example is acetazolamide. Then after there is potassium sparing diuretics, and in potassium sparing diuretics there is aldosterone antagonist and the renal epithelial sodium channel inhibitors. Aldosterone antagonist is spironolactone and renal epithelial sodium channel inhibitor is amiloride. Lastly, there is osmotic diuretic, that is mannitol, isosorbide and glycerol. So based on their efficacy, diuretics are classified in this three class, that is high saline, medium efficacy and weak or adjuvant diuretics. Now this is the site where all diuretics act, right? Very first is acetazolamide, which acts on carbonic anhydrase, which is carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, and which acts here, right, which acts on proximal convoluted tubule. Second is osmotic agent mannitol, which acts on aquatic channels present in proximal convoluted tubule. Then after that is loop diuretics present, which acts on Na plus K plus 2Cl minus co-transport system present in loop of Henle, thick ascending limb loop of Henle, right? Fourth is thiazide diuretics, which acts on proximal convoluted tubule. Fifth is aldosterone antagonist, which acts on once again the collecting ducts. Then after that is ADH antagonist, number 6, they also act on collecting ducts. And lastly adenosine, that is the adenosine is also acting on collecting ducts, right? So let's see each one. Very first is carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. So these are weak type of diuretics and acts by inhibiting carbonic anhydrase enzyme. Examples are acetazolamide, methazolamide and dorzolamide. So action of carbonic anhydrase. So what is role of carbonic anhydrase, that should be known first. So it catalyzes the reaction, that is CO2 plus H2O in presence of carbonic hydrase, it forms carbonic acid, that is H2CO3. Now this reaction is reversible. means H2CO3 is once again converted to CO2 and H2O in presence of carbonic anhydrous, right? H2CO3, that is carbonic acid, is once again converted to HCO3 minus and H plus ion also, right? So it is located in proximal convoluted tubule, both in cytoplasm of tubular cells and on luminal membrane, right? It plays key role in sodium bicarbonate reabsorption. So carbonic anhydrase is playing key role in proximal convoluted tubule for reabsorption of sodium bicarbonate. So yes, here is a figure. In this figure we can see the role of carbonic anhydrase, right? Role of carbonic anhydrase, right? This is proximal convoluted tubule, this is tubular area, this is inside the tubule, lumen is inside the tubule and interstitium is outside the tubule, and this is proximal convoluted tubular cell. Now there is carbonic anhydrase, right, which is inhibited by carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. Therapeutic use, so because of self-limiting action, production of acidosis and hypokalemia, it is not used as diuretic. It is also used, it is used in edema, it is used in glaucoma and to alkaline urine. At for high altitude sickness, epilepsy and to treat metabolic alkalosis. Adverse drug reaction are metabolic acidosis, hypokalemia, drowsiness, tinnitus, paresthesia, abdominal discomfort, bone marrow depression, renal lesions, allergic reactions, and renal stones. Okay, so now next is loop diuretics. So these are also called high saline diuretics and they are having high efficacy, right? Site of action is thick ascending limb of loop of Henle, and specifically it acts on sodium potassium 2 chloride co-transport system. Now it can prevent reabsorption of sodium. 35% of sodium is reabsorbed from loop of Henle, and that is prevented by loop diuretics, and that is why it is high saline diuretic. Examples are furosemide, torsemide and bumetanide. Yes, this is the mechanism of loop diuretics, and this is thick ascending limb cell and co-transport system, that is sodium, potassium and 2 chloride channel, where furosemide will inhibit this system and inhibit reabsorption of sodium. So sodium will remain in tubule and it will also retain large amount of water there, and by that it produces diuresis. Therapeutic use is edematous condition, acute pulmonary edema, cerebral edema, hypertension and hypercalcemia. Adverse drug reaction of loop diuretics are hypokalemia, hyperuricemia, hypomagnesemia, hypocalcemia, hypotension, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, ototoxicity, hypersensitivity reaction and alkalosis. Alkalosis occur due to increase in amount of hydroxide in blood. Next is thiazide and thiazide-like diuretics. So these are diuretics of medium efficacy. The site of action is distal convoluted tubule and specifically sodium chloride symport system. Examples are hydrochlorothiazide, benzthiazide and metalazone. Now yes, this is the mechanism. So in distal convoluted tubule cell there is sodium chloride co-transport system which is inhibited by thiazide diuretics, and hence sodium reabsorption is inhibited. As sodium reabsorption is inhibited, it will remain in tubule for a long time and it will also retain water, and by that it will produce diuretic action. Therapeutic use is to treat edema associated with heart, that is congestive heart failure, in liver, that is cirrhosis. So in liver cirrhosis there is ascites, and ascites means accumulation of fluid in abdominal cavity. So to treat that, thiazide diuretics are one of the choice of drug, and in nephritic syndrome, chronic renal failure and in acute glomerulonephritis also thiazide diuretics are used. These are also used in as anti-hypertensive agent and in osteoporosis. Adverse drug reaction, hypotension, hypokalemia, metabolic alkalosis, hypernatremia, hypochloremia, hypomagnesemia and hypercalcemia and hyperuricemia. Next is potassium sparing diuretics. So these are the diuretics that have that are able to conserve potassium while inducing mild nutrisis, right? It includes aldosterone antagonist, that is spironolactone, and renal epithelial sodium channel inhibitors. Means renal sodium channel inhibitors, and that is trimethoprim and amiloride. These are very specific drugs. You should remember this. Next is spironolactone. So this is a steroid chemically related to the mineralocorticoid aldosterone. It acts as antagonist of aldosterone, right? This is the mechanism. So it is acting in collecting ducts, and it is inhibiting ultimately aldosterone. It is acting as aldosterone antagonist, and by that it is inhibiting mineralocorticoid action. Okay. Mechanism of action of spironolactone. So aldosterone penetrates the late distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct cells. It binds to intracellular mineralocorticoid receptor and induce formation of aldosterone induced proteins. Aldosterone induced proteins promote sodium reabsorption by number of mechanisms and potassium secretion. So spironolactone binding to this and inhibits formation of these proteins, and as a result it increases sodium and decreases potassium excretion. Therapeutic use is in combination with other diuretic to counteract potassium loss, edema, hypertension, congestive heart failure, and primary hyperaldosteronemia. Adverse drug reactions are hyperkalemia, metabolic acidosis in cirrhotic patients, diarrhea, gastritis, gynecomastia, erectile dysfunction, menstrual irregularities, drowsiness, and mental confusion. Next is mannitol, osmotic diuretics. So it is osmotic diuretics. Its major site of action is loop of Henle. Chemically, it is a sugar alcohol, and it is non-electrolyte of low molecular weight, and pharmacologically it is inert. Mechanism of action of mannitol is, so mannitol is freely filtered at glomerulus, undergoes limited reabsorption. Being a hypertonic solute, it increases intraluminal osmotic pressure. As intraluminal osmotic pressure will increase, it will increase water in the lumen, in the tubule, and hence it produces diuresis. So hence it produces increase the urine volume. Therapeutic uses to treat increased intracranial or intraocular pressure. Drug of choice for cerebral edema and in acute renal failure. Adverse drug reactions are pulmonary edema, headache, nausea, vomiting, and dehydration. Now let's talk about antidiuretics. So this all were diuretics. Next is antidiuretics. So antidiuretics are the drugs that reduce urine volume, especially used in condition like diabetes insipidus. Classification of these drugs are antidiuretic hormone, that is ADH, vasopressin, and its analogs desmopressin, terlipressin, and lipressin. Thiazide diuretics, amiloride, and miscellaneous, in that indomethacin is there, chlorpropamide, and carbimazepine. Pharmacological action of antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin. So very first in kidney, as antidiuretic acts on collecting ducts, increases water permeability, which leads to lumen water diffuse to interstitium. Mechanism of action 1 means there are two mechanisms specifically, and in the first mechanism, V2 receptors on the basolateral side of collecting cell membrane activates and increases cyclic AMP formation, which will lead to phosphorylation of relevant protein and promote exocytosis of aquaporin 2 water channels containing vesicles in apical membrane. More aqueous channels inserted into the apical membrane lead to water permeability of collecting duct cells increased and prevent urination. Mechanism number 2 is V1 receptor action on ADH leads to constrict vasa recta, which will diminish blood flow to inert medulla, which will prevent urine formation. Action of ADH on blood vessels. So ADH acts on V1 receptor. It leads to contraction of blood vessel and increased blood volume. Other action are smooth muscle contracted. In gut, it increases peristalsis. evacuation and expulsion of gas. In uterus, it is constricted. On CNS, ADH not penetrate BBB, and in liver, glyconeogenesis. Absorption. So pharmacokinetic of ADH. So ADH is absorbed orally, inactive because destroyed by trypsin, metabolism by liver and excrete by kidney. Analogues of ADH, as I said, there is lypresine, terlipressin and desmopressin, which are having same mechanism of action but different pharmacokinetic. Uses. So based on V2 receptor, it is used in diabetes insipidus, bedwetting in children, a renal concentration test, hemophilia, and based on V1 action, it is used in bleeding, esophageal varices, and before abdominal radiography. Adverse drug reactions. So main adverse drug reactions are transient headache and flushing, nasal irritation, congestion, rhinitis, ulceration, and epistaxis are also seen. Systemic adverse effects are bletching, nausea, abdominal cramp, pallor, urge to defecate, backache in females, fluid retention and hyponatremia. ADP causes bradycardia, increased cardiac afterload, and precipitate angina by constricting coronary vessels. Thiazide derivatives, they are also acting as anti-diuretic drugs sometimes. So what is mechanism? Let's see that. Actually, thiazide and high saline diuretics are diuretics drug but which provide anti-diuretic effect in diabetes insipidus. High saline diuretics are not used because they are having short and strong action. Thiazide reduces urine volume in both pituitary origin and renal diabetes insipidus, and it is used when ADH is ineffective. The mechanism of thiazide diuretics, which is actually not known, but thiazide may induce sustained electrolyte depletion resulting in glomerular filtration completely reabsorbed, and it continuously electrolyte loss causes decreased plasma osmolarity and lead to antidiuretic action. Next is miscellaneous derivatives. So this all are supportive derivatives for antidiuretic activities. In that there is amiloride, endomethacin, chlorpropamide and carbamazepine. Frequently asked questions from these topics are: references. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe our channel Pharma Ignite for more updates. Thank you.